I mean, the add-on, like, cool, national.
Yeah.
Well, great. Hi, everybody. I'm Gina Oberding. I am here to facilitate our Parks and Rec bond meeting. And I think we're going to start with some introductions. Actually, let me go through the agenda before we really dive in. Some of the objectives for today's meeting really are to introduce some new members of this committee. And then I asked Christina to, I'd like her to just kind of touch base on what the committee, really what are the objectives of this meeting, of this group. I think for everyone's clarification and for new members too. And then we'll just go through some project updates in the timeline. I've asked both Brad and Adrian to speak on some of the projects. We've got some show and tell for you today, some drawings for you to see. So we're getting into the exciting phases where you can really see some things happening. We do want to talk about some community engagement. I'm going to do a high-level overview of the financials, and then we'll go through the next steps. So, as a way of introduction, I am going to introduce myself first. I am the Parks and Rec Bond Project Manager. I was hired about 2 months ago. So I'm new to the team, not new to Inglewood. I'm very happy to be with the city. So thank you for saying yes to me. To my boss, Christina, go ahead and do your introduction.
I'm Christina Underhill. I'm the Director of Parks, Recreation, Library, and Golf. Adrian?
I'm Adrian Torres. I'm the Open Space Manager.
Sarah Stant, Recreation Manager.
Brad Anderson, Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation.
Chris Davison, Aquatics Manager.
So that's, and then our intern with Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I'm Robin. I'm the Parks, Rec, Library, Golf intern for the summer.
Yeah, so that's a good way to do this, kind of by department. I guess I've listed it like that. For finance, we've got in the room.
Kevin Hills, Director of Finance. Steve is online.
Christine Hart's the Manager of Finance. Perfect.
Yep, great.
Got it right.
Thanks for joining, Christine. And then from Public Works.
Victor Rochelle, Director of Public Works.
And then you're from Public, okay.
No, Community Development.
I was
I'm
going to say.
Brad Power, Community Development.
I was gonna say, I think that's really great. I'm getting it. From the city's attorney's office, yes.
Cameron Isle City Attorney.
Elizabeth Bennett, Legal Intern.
Great.
And then the communications team, Chris, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. Chris Argeth, Communications Director.
Vanessa Davis, Marketing Manager.
Okay, Andrea Moeller, Visual Communication Specialist.
And Madeline Hinkvis, Neighborhood Engagement Program Manager.
And then online?
Amanda Arns, Communication Strategist.
Super. That's such a great group. This is awesome. So our new members, I'll let you introduce yourselves and tell us maybe how you got invited to the meeting.
Oh gosh, this is the A-team. I'm impressed. Logan Dunning, I'm on the city's Sustainability Commission. I also serve on the Urban Renewal Authority. We had our June meeting, and it was brought up that it's been requested we have a few members come from the commission. So myself and Elizabeth are here. I'll let her introduce herself, but excited to be here and bring that lens and just ensure that what we've heard from the community and what we heard in the planning process is being implemented from a sustainability perspective.
Thanks, Logan.
Yep.
I actually demo a lot of software for my job, and it's hard to break that record. Usually I'm like, I'm here to support this opportunity. I'm based in Denver, Colorado. My name's Elizabeth. So anyway, it is Elizabeth, and I, same reason as Logan, was on the Sustainability Committee, and I actually jumped at this. I also am part of the neighborhood leaders and the Inglewood Elevators, and I'm a huge fan of this project in general. So I was really wanting to be a part of it.
And then Rick Emmelhines also is on the Sustainability Committee. He's going to fill in if one of you two can't make it to one of these meetings. So he's on the list, but if three come, it's an official meeting. So we have two here during this time, and we're expecting this to last the 3 years to continue to give updates as we move through the process. It's possible these meetings will go from once a month to maybe quarterly as everything's rolling. But right now we're in the planning process. We'll be talking about that today.
Super. Well, you might as well just go on with it and kind of give a little background on the committee and.
So this is a lot of money. $41.5 million is a ton of money, and it's our Englewood residents' property tax money. So we want to make sure we're spending it appropriately and doing what we said we're going to do through all the bond initiative that we posted the last couple of years. So just ensuring accountability, obviously promoting transparency, and that's why the communications team is really here. They've been very important to have as part of this project because we want to be sharing with the community what we're doing because we're excited about it and we want the community to be excited about it. And we want the community to know we're spending your money like we said we would. Also just monitoring progress with each of the projects. We have 3 years to spend 85% of the 41.5. Our goal is to get everything done in 3 years, but we know that might not be as possible as we hoped it to be with just a variety of reasons. We have to do some studies at some of our parks before we can really kick off design, so that's a little bit of a delay, but right now we're on track to spend the majority of the 41.5 within 3 years. And then also evaluating community impact. Every project will go before our public through public meetings. We'll have a minimum 2 public meetings. Some parks may have more or facilities may have more depending on what is going on at that, but we really want the residents and the users of our facilities and parks to give as much feedback as they can. We want to give the public what they want within budgets that we have. And then also recommendations. We were at neighborhood nights last night and we heard from residents, about different parks, not necessarily Northwest Greenbelt, but people were talking about that because that's where neighborhood nights was last night. And people, our public is amazing and the residents are great. They think of things we wanted. And so we really want to hear what residents have to say so we can implement some of those things and they can enjoy it for years to come. And just overall building public trust. Again, this is a lot of money. We want the residents to trust us and know that we promised all these things and we did just that. So thank you both for being on here and be sure to share it with the commission when you go back to them and your neighbors and friends that live within Englewood to share what we're doing. And if they have questions, bring those questions to these meetings or email us and we'd be happy to answer them.
Sounds good. And sort of just to reiterate and visually what this is, $41.5 million. Our campaign is called Renew and Recreate. We can let our communications team talk about that later too. But we have 2 facilities that will be using some of this money. So Pirates Cove and the Englewood Rec Center, and then 8 parks. And you'll see the list there. And I've asked Adrian to talk about some of these parks. We will not talk about all of these parks all of the time because right now, for example, Bard Park, there's not a lot going on. We're kind of doing some surveying. It's just not that exciting. So we want to talk about the projects that really have a lot more activity. But if you've got questions, we're happy to answer those. And then again, 85% of this work will be completed within 3 years. So we are moving and grooving. So.
And I do want to add too, we do have our residents here, but Jenna, she's the Parks and Recreation Commission chair. She is also typically in these meetings. She usually joins online. She's not able to make it today, at least not yet. But she shares with our commission monthly what we have going on in addition to staff reports. So just one more resident on here too.
So big picture, the timeline really started April 16th, when we purchased the bond. And that's really kind of our starting point, even though a lot of work had been done before this time by our Parks and Rec team and really set us up for getting some projects started early. So that's great. May 19th was also a significant date in which the City Council approved a bunch of our contracts. And so that was really when we could get going. So it's been, a lot of activity since that time. In May and June, we did a lot of design kickoff meetings with design firms that we have selected to manage our projects and help us design some really great facilities. In August, we will start renovation in Cushing Park. We'll talk about that in a bit, and we expect that will be done by the end of the year, so that will be great. A whole chunk of things will happen between the fall of 2025 and the spring of 2026. Including renovations to Rotolo and Emerson, and then really starting, and design. So there's kind of a couple parallel things, I guess, happening there. Design work, and then some renovations, and then more design work happening. And then construction really starting for some of these projects really in early January 2026. So any sort of questions about big picture things, we're happy to continue to update this group as we have more specific timelines. And of course, we're going to be communicating those timelines as we have more concrete dates. Any questions on this for now? Awkward silence for an X amount of time, just in case someone had something. All right, Brad, the next couple things are yours, and I did insert graphics for you
Awesome.
for the rec center.
So the two facility projects that we have from the bond are Pirates Cove and then also the Recreation Center. So we'll talk about Pirates Cove first. We just had the kickoff meeting with BHA, who is our design firm with that one. The pool contractors are Councilman Hunsaker, who actually we have a lot of experience with. They were part of the original design team for Pirates Cove back in 2004 when that opened up. So we're excited with that one. We are just, like I said, just getting started with that one, meeting it, but we're hitting the ground running and we're really looking to have all the design work completed and construction documents hopefully by the end of the year, the first part of 2026, to where construction could feasibly start in August of 2026 of next year. So with the completion date, we're looking at hopefully by opening day on 27. So it's a pretty aggressive schedule, and so we're hoping we can stick to it. And little snowfall, we'll have really great winters that day, so it doesn't impede our construction process. The Recreation Center, the design firm that we picked was OLC. They're a local firm here also. The one BHA also is a local firm out of Fort Collins, but OLC is working on the Recreation Center with that one. We have completed a couple conceptual drawings that I'll share with you here in a little bit too, but we're already compared and we put down on the calendar that our first community engagement is going to be on July 22nd. So we're excited about that one for the citizens to come and get excited about what we have planned for it and have their input on making it an awesome facility that's 40 years old. So we're excited about that one. So this is the first part. So the project with the Recreation Center, probably the biggest piece that we have is to revamp the locker rooms. So we're going to take the locker rooms totally out. We currently have, if you see in the pink part down there says family, that's a family locker room. So current ones are actually located a little bit further just to the left of there. And we want to relocate those so that it's right when you come into the rec center, that you can go right in the family locker rooms, and there'll be a men's locker room and a women's locker room. We're excited about that one so that we can monitor the families going through the locker rooms a little bit better than we currently are too. So that facility, as far as the locker rooms, has only been updated once, and that was in 2001, and it's in need of it again. So we're excited about this whole design on this one. The other amenities that we have in there is we are adding in a steam room. We currently have a sauna, but we will have a steam room also. I want to just word of caution with this one. This is evolving a little bit too, so this may not be exactly what the final thing is because we also want the citizens' input. Next slide.
Brad, for the family locker room, is that also like non-gendered locker rooms? Is it an individual room that somebody could go into?
Yes,
if
it'll
they-
be multi-generational, so we don't have to worry about that one.
Perfect,
Okay.
okay.
Yes. This one here is just another rendition of what we could do with it. This one is the family locker room is actually in the middle, in between the men's locker room and the women's locker room. So that's an option that we could do. And the steam room and the sauna room would be on the pool side of each one of those of the locker rooms there.
Is the access from the pool?
Access will be from the pool, yes, and from the hallway there. The entrance to the locker rooms from the hallway, when you first come into it, is going to be very similar to what it is now. Just with an additional door that's going into the family locker rooms. And the next one, Gina?
Is this Boston?
Okay.
Sarah, do you have anything to add to the locker rooms? I know that's something where you hear a lot from your page, that people that you see all the time.
No, I think one of the biggest focus is safety and making sure lifeguards have visual on the doors where people are coming in and out of the sauna and steam room. And then also with the family locker room being so far in the back of the building, we've seen all the things, and so we are wanting to bring it a little bit closer. And also I'm trying to change the word to universal locker room just to get away from gender in general. So it would be a neutral space where people can just go, they don't even need to change. They can go straight to the pool, watch their kid do swim lessons, that kind of stuff. So, and then there's also a huge desire for dry changing spaces. So for those people using the dry land side of the rec center, they don't have to wade through water to get to the restroom facilities. So there's going to be some considerations for that as well. And then also, I don't know if we're going to talk about it, but there'll be a pickleball opportunity up in the north side of the complex where we have access through the building. So we're looking at some lounge type spaces that would be in the existing, what we call the family locker room. There's some opportunities there to change up that space. There's quite a bottleneck down that hallway right now too, so it would just give some extra flexible space. But yeah, safety is the key here, comfort.
Cool.
So the other part of the design that we had when we started looking at the bond initiative and what we could do to enhance the aquatics area is, number one, for 40 years, we've heard a lot of comments about where's the spa, where's the hot tub at, and we just never had one in. So this is an amenity that we are putting in. A couple of different locations that we're looking at. This one we're not in favor of. Currently it is located in what is the party room right now. The party room really isn't utilized a whole bunch, so we could fit it in there, and then we decided to come up with a different design. I'm gonna go forward with that one. So this is a little bit more of what we're looking at. So the spa, and also we're looking to tack on to an optional feature, a cold plunge pool. Cold plunge pools are very popular right now, so they will be kind of tied together a little bit. With this one, we're looking to actually move the spa. That is the blue on the left side of it. We're looking to move that a little bit to the north or towards the upper portion of where the slide is at. A couple reasons for that one. The sight line with this one is not very good for lifeguards to see the spa, to monitor that one in the cold plunge pool. So we think we'll have better visibility if we move that to the north a little bit. So that's something that we will look, and we're working with the designer right now with this one. There's also the opportunity with this design is there's windows to the west side or to the left side of where the pool is at, that we will actually go out onto the current pool deck. So we'll actually be adding some space into the pool area so that we have enough room to go into. We'll have better room to access the slide, better room to access the spa, and also the cold plunge pool too. We also will have a mechanical room that'll be on that side as well, and then also we'll have some storage areas that we can use as well. So that we're looking forward to that.
Chris, any comments from the aquatics side?
Yeah, the only other bit of that not represented in this slide that we're also considering is with removal, and you can see an area right of the swimming pool that's in red box. That's where our current lifeguard office sits. And so if the locker room is to absorb that space, we're looking at relocating that down into the party room that Brad was referencing, which is going to be just south of the lap pool. Still trying to talk through kind of what that space will actually look like, but there'll be a relocation of the staff to where they could still visibly see activity that's going on in the pool area, as well as get some more flexible space, whether that's some break space, whether there's a table, maybe some first aid space, just something with some more flexibility, as well as some touchdowns as far as an office is concerned with that as well. The only other thing that's not represented that we're also looking at with OLC is the replacement of water slide, the small slide. So that's some talk through with that. They are currently looking at options on replacement for that current slide. There are some challenges with pool depth currently, so we're kind of talking through that process right now of seeing what options may be available that would be adequate for that space.
So again, just some initial ideas, and we want to bring some of this to to the community on July 22nd to say, what are your thoughts? What do you think? We want people to feel informed and have a voice. So we'll be there, and we'll talk to the communications team about promoting that community engagement. opportunity. So moving on to parks, this is Adrian's section.
All right, well, I'll start at the beginning for some of these for the new members. Bellevue Park feasibility study, why do we even need it? Bellevue Park, where the current farm is in the FEMA floodplain. The farm was actually built before FEMA was even created, so it's grandfathered in now as long as we don't make any improvements. So what does a feasibility study mean? They're currently looking for potential areas that we can move the farm to. So hopefully by the end of next month that they will have a couple areas within the park that could be potential new locations to move the farm. So that's kind of what's going on with the study. We did have a great meeting with the design team's architect this week. They met with the farm and train staff and got in depth on their needs and their wants. So they got a ton of information from us on day-to-day operations at the farm and train. Go ahead, Logan.
Any idea what where the farm is currently at, what it would become? Can you build anything there?
No,
since it's in
no
FEMA?
improvements. So we're open to ideas.
Right.
It would most likely be torn down and replaced with something.
The sustainability committee actually recommended, or what some of your members recommended, maybe doing like native garden out there. So it could be an educational space, an area for trees to be planted. We can't put any structures in there, so it's gonna just be open area. So yeah, keep that in mind, and yeah, we are looking for ideas of what we can make that so it's still nice.
When do you need ideas? Bye.
We're ways off.
Yeah, I would say
Time.
probably,
Yes.
end of fall maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, take that back to the sustainability committee and just talk about that and see what they have.
As Gina said earlier, Cushing groundbreaking in August. So Cushing will be our first project that breaks ground. Cushing will get a new playground. It'll be in the same footprint as the current playground. One of the unique things at Cushing is we have those two large evergreen trees that are in the playground and provide quite a bit of shade. So that's one of the reasons that we chose to keep it in the same footprint. Another addition at Cushing will be a dog park that is across Inca, in kind of the past the turf, so west of the turf, just kind of in the native area right now. We're starting to see quite an increase in usage with the development that has gone on around Cushing Park in that neighborhood. So a lot more dog requests for Cushing. So any questions on Cushing? I will say, let me back up a little bit. So Cushing, we're shovel ready. We have construction drawings. We picked a contractor. It'll be Elite Industries. They're also the ones that have built Bates Logan. We did talk to them yesterday, and August 4th, they're planning on being on site to start construction at Cushing. So Emerson, we're in the evaluation process. We did receive 5 proposals for construction at Emerson. The evaluation committee, I think it's due maybe today, sometime tomorrow.
Yep.
So the evaluation committee's reviews are due tomorrow. After they're submitted to procurement will make a recommendation on who should be awarded the contract. Give you kind of a timeline. Once we get that, we'll have to go to council. So we're looking probably late July, early August to get to council. So Emerson will most likely be this fall, winter for construction at Emerson.
Have you lost like any preferred contractors for projects because they were awarded another project? Have you seen any of that? Or?
We have not seen that yet. One thing that I will mention that we have seen is cost increases. Anything that is not so much with plant materials and stuff like that, but any structures seem to have really increased. So we're getting creative with our design teams of how to stay within budget and still provide a quality product.
Yeah.
So
But
that's what
you're
we
seeing
have.
enough contractors to go around with?
We are, yep. 5 is pretty typical, with usually between 5 and 8 different contractors when we have a proposal that's out for bid. Just as a reminder, Emerson will get a small pavilion, it'll get 1 swing, it'll get kind of a nature play climber. But the main things over at Emerson is gonna be lots of trees and shrubs, and they're kind of gonna do a border around it that's concrete and with some shapes, so. And also another big win over at Emerson is the entire new irrigation system. Any questions on Emerson?
Is it getting a bathroom?
It is not.
No.
Northwest Greenbelt, we had our neighborhood nights there last night at Northwest Greenbelt. As a reminder, the survey is open on the Inglewood Engage page. Gina did put signs out through the park last night, so hopefully we'll get some users that use the park daily to fill out the survey. The design team was there last night and talked to most everybody that was there. So we did get quite a bit of good feedback last night. So it was a great night. Let's see, did I miss anything on that one?
No, but Northwest Greenbelt will be getting a bathroom.
Yes.
And there is a tricky part about that park, which is, if you've been there, it's a really long span of park. At the one end is a playground that kind of sits up on a hill. There's a FEMA floodway there, so the restroom would have to go up high, but to locate it near the playground makes a lot of sense. The other part of that park is an off-leash dog area. So we have gotten input from people that use the dog space, and we're just gonna leave that be. So, but this is also where we're engaging with the sustainability committee to say, how can we add some more, water-wise plants, some, maybe pollinators, that kind of thing, to the south end of the park where there is a little bit of a creek and an opportunity to grow some things that would not be in the way of, other things. So we're looking forward to really making that park a little bit more vibrant. So.
And last is Miller. So kind of had what Brad said, these are high level concepts that we're going to show you guys. I like to use the example of Rotolo when people first saw the concepts of Rotolo, and what we finally got to at the end were night and day different. So this is just a couple of designers' ideas of potential locations that different things could be at in Miller.
Okay.
So this is the first one. This kind of keeps the fields as they're, how they're located now. A couple exciting things that will be coming to Miller is playground, splash pad. We're looking to do a larger community pavilion / amphitheater so that we can potentially have, kid stage or move summer concerts or something into the park. So this is one of their ideas. Parking. So the parking lot is currently, let's see, actually this is a little different. So this kept the fields together like they are now. The parking lot is currently in the top left corner. So that's where the splash pad, playground, we're gonna do some plantings. We talked about a soft skate path that would go through there. So this was just an initial idea that was shown to us this week or late last week? This week,
Yeah.
so.
Adrian, how much are you reducing the existing parking lot? And is that the police station?
Yep, police station's on the left. So what did we say? We had 45 spaces in there now?
Yeah, they're matching what we have now.
So we'll have the same spaces that we currently have in the parking lot now, somewhere else in the park.
Right, okay. But that particular lot in the top left is effectively cut in half.
Yep.
Nice.
There's that parking structure that's up directly.
Yes.
Yeah, is that something that can be utilized or no? Who owns that?
Not to my knowledge,
The bank owns it.
The bank owns it.
Chase owns that.
Is it the bank?
privately owned.
parking.
The bank that you can't go inside of? ATM.
I brought up that parking lot too.
I was just curious if there's avenues to use that.
I mean, you know, yeah, it's been talked about for years, it would be amazing for us.
Yeah.
So. Want to go to the next one?
Sure.
Okay, so this is kind of the same features, just a different idea. So this one, the stage would kind of be in the middle, and you could do concerts or, you know, picnics or everything off both ball fields. So just kind of a different idea, all the same features, all the same everything.
Is there a cost difference in keeping the softball field where it's at, as opposed to bringing it up, as opposed to the splash pad being up there, since it's already existing in the south?
We have no idea yet.
Okay.
So
That's part of the design process, is once we figure out where everything can lay out on the park, then they start looking at costs. We have to do some retention for stormwater, and where does that go? And so those conversations are happening. So there's a lot of literally underground work we have to look at to figure out which design is the most feasible and how we move forward with that design and meet the needs we have and stay within budget.
Is there any programming there now where parking becomes an issue? Like you host tournaments there or anything where it spills into the neighborhoods?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an issue, but it's definitely full street parking and, you know, in the neighborhood and stuff.
Do you get lots of complaints
No.
with that or no?
No.
We haven't yet.
Yes.
Fun fact, we used to host our Easter egg hunt there.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
we would
That's
bring
fun.
thousands.
And we had a fun fest there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a 2-day event afterward too.
And just, this is gonna be a destination.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be amazing, so.
If you move that softball field, are you reusing the turf? Do you scrape it and then relay it? Or do you have to scrap all that turf and then resod or relay turf or whatever? Can you move it?
I don't know.
Okay.
You know, some of the initial, well, I don't know is the right answer.
We can cut sod and move
Yeah.
it, but we'll look at the health of the turf too. If it's aged turf, we might want to start new. So it's a new park versus aged turf. Emerson's a good example of old turf, and that's why we want to really renovate the turf there, is there's just a lot of weeds and other things growing, and it's not as healthy as what like a new sod would be. So the goal is to make the park look as nice. If we can reuse it, we will.
And there's potential in other park locations.
Okay.
So just kind of designers, a couple ideas of potential at Miller Park. So they are supposed to refine these a little bit for us, and this is kind of the first things that the community will see. We're having a community engagement on July 15th and on August 6th for Miller. A couple of the key stakeholders that we're going to talk to is UIS. They're a heavy user.
Pirate Youth Sports.
Yeah, thanks. So, you know, they're the sports group for our community. So they use it for baseball and football and you know, all their sports. The surrounding neighborhood, this is also, like Chris mentioned, this is a destination, and this would probably be larger community input as well. We also have PD next door, so they also kind of be a stakeholder in this project as far as giving us some feedback on sight lines and where cameras can see, where cameras can't see and stuff like that. So exciting stuff from Miller. Is there any questions on the Miller?
I would include the fire department being right there too.
Good idea.
They're just like right off the page there.
So like we said, fairly early, lots of stuff can change. You know, we've had one meeting, I think, with the design team, so you guys haven't missed anything. There's no decisions being made. They're just starting to look at different uses of the park and include the stuff that the voters have voted on to be in.
That was a fun show and tell. This is numbers, so maybe not as fun, but for those number people, Kevin would probably
Kevin's all excited now.
You know, one of the things we want to make sure that we do with this committee in particular is make sure that you know what the financials look like. And working with Christine and Tracy, who are both online, really making sure that we're dialed into the accuracy of these numbers every month. So you'll see here the project name on the left, then the column to the right is what was appropriated. And we haven't spent actually a ton. That 38,000 there at the top, it was for the bond sale company and the costs associated with that. You'll see what in the encumbered column, the contracts that have been for our design firms, the contracts that have been approved have a purchase order associated with it, and those funds have been encumbered. So really the numbers are fairly simple at this stage. We'll probably, we'll be seeing some slow trickle of invoices coming in, but the real, big money will be during the construction phases. So.
This might be a silly question, but for the appropriate, the last column, where the numbers match exactly to the 2025, that's reflecting that it's up to that full amount. It's not like the contractor came in exactly the exact same amount, right?
Right.
Right, okay.
Or it hasn't been.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you can use Cushing as an example. Our budget's 600,000. You see we have 4,000 left, and that's the construction contract.
I'm following now. Gotcha.
595.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thanks, Christine.
Fair.
Yeah. So anything else from the finance team or anyone else? I mean, I sort of just plan to give a high-level overview of finances. I don't plan on going deep in the weeds with that. That doesn't feel like it would be a good use of time, but I'm willing to take any suggestions you guys want for what you think would be helpful for the committee. So please let me know. Anyway, and then we do want to just make sure that we are letting you know how much we are engaging the community. So I've been at all the neighborhood nights so far. So I was at Jason Park, Romans Park, and then Northwest last night. So is the rest of the team. We want to make sure we hear from people. We're talking to them about a lot of our parks, but in particular, try to talk about the bond stuff. And then the upcoming neighborhood nights I will be at, as well as other members of our team. We're also doing the on-site surveying and discussion with community members at the fields, at the parks. So Miller Field will be coming up. We've got the rec center we talked about, and then we're going to do one at Pirates Cove on August 5th. So this is where we'll work with the communications team. We'll do an online survey. We will do social media posts, just advertising, the survey, advertising these community events, neighborhood nights, things like that. And then online, we have our Inglewood Engaged page, which is a lot of activities happening at the city. And in particular, our campaign, Renew and Recreate, has each park and project has a tile that you can click on that has specifics in regards to that project. And then project-specific surveys, we're tailoring every survey for that park depending on what the design company wants to know and what we want to know from the community. So, all right, next steps. So community engagement events will be busy this next couple months, clearly. Construction starts for Cushing Park in August and planning a groundbreaking event. So that will be coming up. And then this next meeting we have scheduled for every fourth Thursday of the month. So July 24th at 2 p.m. is our next meeting. So that's all I have for you today.
Any questions? Comments?
Anything else the committee would like to see to feel more informed? Right amount of information, thumbs up, right amount of information, yes. Kind of good. Okay, should I bring snacks? Is that what the issue is? I'm not sure what's happening here.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, well, anyway, we appreciate your attendance and input with our projects, so thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.